Bypassing student debt for a paid electrical education that leads to journeyman wages north of $100,000 is a highly sought-after path. To access those benefits, applicants have to survive a rigid, hyper-competitive, and heavily bureaucratic application gauntlet. The first hurdle is structural. You do not apply to the IBEW on a national level. You apply to a specific Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee, or JATC, in a specific region. This diagram illustrates what we call the jurisdiction trap. Every local JATC in New York, from New York City to Buffalo, operates with entirely different rules, varying application windows, and completely different passing metrics. We are going to use New York's specific locals as a blueprint to map out exactly how this application reality functions on the ground. Treating the IBEW as a single uniform organization will get your application disqualified. Understanding the exact requirements of your local jurisdiction is the absolute prerequisite to getting hired. The baseline prerequisites establish strict minimum eligibility. Applicants must be 18 years old, possess a high school diploma or GED, and hold a valid driver's license. On this Tri-City JATC document, notice the rigid math rule: 1 year of high school algebra with a C or higher. Failing this is a hard stop. You must pass an external IBEW Tech Math course before the committee can legally review your application. Next are the geographic residency rules, actively enforced to protect local jobs for local workers. These borders are strict and vary. Local 3 in New York City requires you to have lived in the greater metro area for 2 full years prior to applying. On Long Island, Local 25 requires 12 months of proven residency in Nassau or Suffolk counties. On top of where you live, you have to time it right. Application windows are narrow and unpredictable. Some open only once a year, while others open intermittently based on New York State Department of Labor recruitment periods. Geography dictates your timeline. Living in the wrong zip code or missing a tight application window will delay your career by a minimum of 1 full year. If your paperwork clears, you hit the standard cognitive filter, the NJATC Aptitude test. This is a timed 2-part exam covering algebra and reading comprehension. Calculators are strictly prohibited. The stakes for this test are high. Failing triggers a mandatory 3 to 6 month lockout period before you are allowed to try again. Looking at this information sheet for Westchester's Local 3, the passing score, graded on a scale of 1 to 9, is entirely dependent on the specific local's competitiveness. This chart compares that baseline across other New York locals. Westchester requires a 3 out of 9 to advance. Watertown's Local 910 demands a 4. Albany's Local 236 requires a 5. Cognitive readiness is judged on a sliding scale. A test score that secures an interview in one county might be a disqualifying failure in a neighboring jurisdiction. Passing the aptitude test earns you a seat at the interview phase. You will sit before a panel of IBEW and contractor representatives who will evaluate your situational problem-solving skills under extreme pressure. On this Westchester breakdown, the JATC generates your final rank by weighting 50% for the aptitude test and 40% for the interview. Prior vocational training offers little edge, explicitly capped at a maximum of 10% of your total score. That total score places you on a dynamic ranking list. Even if you test well today, a newer applicant testing next month who scores slightly higher will physically bump you down the waitlist. Looking at this document from Local 3, which covers New York City and Westchester, there is an extreme academic mandate. Apprentices must complete 108 hours of college courses at Empire State University on top of their full-time physical labor. The combination of demanding physical labor, mandatory night school, and constantly shifting waitlists means this process is explicitly engineered to filter out everyone except the most resilient candidates. Navigating this application process is essentially a part-time job. It requires months of specific preparation and tracking before you ever secure an interview or land a spot on a waitlist. Once accepted, expect an immediate financial sacrifice. As shown on this Westchester wage sheet, first-year apprentices start at $16.50 an hour. However, panning down provides the full context. Within 5 years, the journey worker wage jumps to nearly $59 an hour, clearing $120,000 annually. The ideal candidate for this path is geographically stable. disciplined enough to handle years of night school, and financially secure enough to wait out a hiring process that can take anywhere from 1 to 6 months. Conversely, if you need a paycheck tomorrow, or if you plan to relocate out of your current county within the next 5 years, this highly localized system will work against you. Because applicant volume and state recruitment windows fluctuate constantly, the only way to confirm when a window opens is to call your specific local hall directly. The IBEW Gauntlet is slow and deeply bureaucratic, but trading that short-term friction for a debt-free education, comprehensive benefits, and lifelong financial stability remains a high ROI career decision.